Hi, I'm just here checking out your 2021 Polaris Sportsman 570 Trail. So it's kind of a knee bones connected to the leg bone sort of thing here. So what I've done is I checked for your rattle issue, but I also checked over a few other things. And what we can do is we could actually do this like a service and a check over if you want to. But there's some other things that I just want to bring to your attention. As a matter of course, any bike I bring into the shop, I check the oil quantity and quality and the air filter, because I don't want to have something come in and it fail because just because I didn't check to see if there was engine oil on it. So anyway, first we're going to look at your rattle. I would say that's coming from the right side. I wasn't able to get it to do it in the yard to rattle around, but I have no doubt that you're having a rattle from it, because that would be your most likely, is partially anyway, is because of that wheel bearing that you can see that I am moving that CV joint and the knuckle's not moving. So that's definitely wear in that wheel bearing, and you can hear it. Little grinding noise it likes to make. Now, after that, I also noted that you have wear in the outer tie rod end on the right side, and you have wear in both the outer and the inner tie rod end on the left side. So if I do this, that play that you see there in your wheel, that is your tie rod ends. Let's see. Just give me one quick second here. On the back end of the bike, I also noticed that we have two flat tires. So there's zero air on those tires, and I can actually press in here quite a, and it's usually hard to do that, but there might be half a pound in them. Maybe. So anyway, you have two flat tires. You also have wear in your knuckle bushings on the left and the right side in the back end, and you can probably see that when whatever hand works best for me here. You can see that the lower fastener moves independent of the control arm. And you've got the same issue over here on this side. I'm going to try and hold my phone with my left hand and do this. It's kind of hard for me. And you can see all the play that you have on that side. So that's your bushings and the sleeves that go with them, and the top and the bottom. That comes as a kit. On that side, I can't really show you this. You're going to have to kind of take my word for it. When I move and have my hand in here, so usually when I'm trying to check for a wheel bearing, when I also have worn out control arm bushings, I can put my hand in and I can feel if the CV joint is moving independent of that bearing carrier in here. You have some play started there on that bearing. So if you wanted to fix that at the same time, because that knuckle has to come off, then we can press a new bearing into it. Next, sorry I'm a little slow here this morning. Back to the front end, I did notice that on the left side you have grease leaking from that outer CV boot at the clamp. So either there's a cut here somewhere where the clamp is on, I've seen that before, or something, but I would recommend that you replace that boot and put new grease in it, because if you have grease leaking out, you have water leaking in. And axles are expensive. I did check the engine oil, like I said. It's very dirty. I would recommend changing that. I also changed or checked your front diff fluid, because you'd asked me about how I access it. On some 570s, I do remove the winch, but yours you don't really have to, the way it's set up. You can actually go right in through there if you have the right tool. So I did pull the plug on it. The fluid in it is very dirty. It's also a bit over full, which was kind of surprising. But it's not gray, so I don't see that it's from water or anything like that. It's just dirty, and I'd say it was just filled up more than it needed to be when it was filled. Sometimes what people will do is they'll just jack up the front end of the bike, not the back end, so they don't keep it level, and they end up putting too much fluid in it. So that's something that should be rectified. With the mileage on the bike and the wear that I see in other things, and the dirty diff fluid, the dirty engine oil, I would also recommend that we check the tranny fluid in it. I also checked your air filter, and just so you know, it's supposed to be white, and it's supposed to have a sock over the top of it. So the pre-filter is missing, and the air filter is very dirty. So common problem with Polaris bikes, actually any bike. I won't pick on Polaris because it's actually not just Polaris, but if you have a dirty air filter and your filter starts to fail, then that leads to dirt ingestion into the engine. So it's a lot cheaper to buy a new air filter and sock than it is to put a new engine in the bike. Let's see. Also noted when I was over here checking on this side that your coolant is low in your bottle. It's currently at the cold mark, just below it, so I can top that up for you too. That also would be included in the ATV service and check over. And I think that's it for what I've checked on it so far. The only thing I did as far as your fuel gauge on your pod is I did verify, like you said, that it's not there, but it is there when you first turn the key on and the gauge goes through its little diagnostic mode or startup mode. It does flash on, all the lights light up on the display like it's supposed to, but it disappears and it doesn't come back afterwards. So I did just check to make sure the plug was plugged in firmly and securely in the back of the instrument cluster, but I haven't checked anything else past that. Last, this bike has currently, I do believe it has a recall on it, and it is for stator wire routing, and I see on the Polaris site that it looks like it's unapplied, and it's a new recall, it's just recent this month. So anyway, I assume you'll probably be getting a letter from Polaris at some point letting you know that you have unapplied recall on your bike. So what I can do is, if you want me to put this together as an ATV service and check over, I can do that, and that includes the time for checking anything else over on the bike, and an oil time for the oil change and the front diff fluid change. It doesn't include the transmission fluid, setting all the tire pressures. And what I would also do is when I set the tire pressures for the back wheels, I can go around with the squirt bottle of soap and see if I can find any slow leaks or anything like that. There's going to be a reason those two back tires are both flat like they are. Hopefully there's no leaks, but I would say there must be something, or they've never had air in them, one or the other. Anyway, if you want me to do that and I can do an estimate up for all the repair items, then please let me know. I'll work on doing it anyway, just to anticipate, but or we can just do the rattle. Anyway, I'm sure we'll be in contact soon, and sorry for the long video and the gravelly voice here this morning. Anyway, have a great day.